It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Friday, the 5th of September. I'm Michael Groff. 9 years ago today, over at Studio A in Arcadia, I created my very first video and put it up on this channel. And yeah, it was kind of a rough start, but 2,481 videos. 9 years later, here we are, still geeking out, still talking weather, and seeing some nice growth here on the channel. And so many of you have decided to join us and stick with us throughout this entire time, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so very much. And to those of you that like to help us out and keep supporting this channel, I appreciate that as well. You can always do so by clicking that thanks icon below the video. Our PayPal, groffshow@gmail.com. That's our PayPal address. All of that linked up below. Again, it's been a great ride, and I'm hoping to give you 9 more years, maybe 19, 29 more years. Who knows how long we'll keep nerding out and talking weather here, but that's just what we like to do. And you know what's interesting about that first video and that second video too? We were talking about a tropical system that wound up disappointing us. And that's exactly what we're still talking about today. It's kind of funny. Bookended by disappointing tropical systems. And that's what happened with Lorena down there off of the Baja. We knew that wasn't coming up here, but it has completely fizzled out and now is just going to drift westward as just a little weak remnant low. And in the meantime, we still have plenty of moisture here across the southwest, and rain chances aren't gone from the forecast. We'll just see isolated showers and storms. They'll be very random. But where they do occur, some locally heavy rain could be the result. We're going to talk about that and so much more. There's a lot to get into here in just a moment. Hey everyone, it's Michael Groff here to talk to you about your roof. With all the extreme weather we have in Arizona, you need a name you can trust, and that's why you should call Blackstone Roofing Group for all of your roofing needs. Call for your free inspection today. Big or small, they do it all. Tile, shingle, or flat roofing, they can help. Offering free inspections and more. Roofing made easy. Call 602-536-9363 or visit blackstoneroofinggroup.com to schedule your free inspection today. And if you tell them Michael Groff sent you, they'll take $500 off the price of your roof replacement. Again, that's 602-536-9363 or blackstoneroofinggroup.com. All right, let's get into it. It is Friday, and that means it's Photo Friday here. That's where we take a look at some of the photos and or videos that you guys have submitted. And first up, David Parnell, Kingman High School was the place, and I'm going to just assume that's in Kingman. He says temperatures were in the mid to upper 90s, and it was muggy. Of course it is. High school sports, always rough to start off the year, but we appreciate David getting out and about, taking those pictures for us. Then Buck up in Montana, they've had some wildfires. It's dried out a little bit up there, at least enough so to keep those fires going, and some smoke. Still makes for some very picturesque shots, though. There were a few showers and thunderstorms, though, that he managed to take some pictures of as well. Up in Big Sky Country, we really appreciate Buck. Again, you know, these weather videos, we do talk Phoenix and Arizona weather here, but we are open to discussing weather all over the country and even around the world, and taking your pictures from all over the place too. We do that all the time here, and we really do appreciate you guys being the eyes and ears, my view into the rest of the world. Now this is from our thumbnail today. This is from Chris Flores, who got a picture of a sunset here looking westward from the East Valley. Look at that. That's awesome. And then he also got a picture of a thunderstorm. Look at that lightning, man. That is, that again, incredible. You guys do amazing when it comes to these pictures. And that's why we've been doing Photo Friday now for what, about 5 years, right? Clayton was in Tallahassee, Florida, not that long ago. Got a couple of pictures from down there. And then I think this one is from his uncle in Colorado. And the weather, you never know what you're going to get in Colorado. It could be hot, and then the next minute it could be a driving rain or hail. Sometimes in April or May, you could get snow. I mean, who knows, right? Colorado, that's one place where it is a weather slot machine. And then this is from John. And again, this is from around the valley here. Look at that rainbow. We love it. And let's see here. This is from Ryan Seek. Oh yeah, Ryan Seek out and about doing what Ryan Seek does. When there's monsoon thunderstorms around, he will find them. He will take the pictures. The wall of dust. And he said this one kind of caught him off guard a little bit. Yeah, you don't want to get caught, especially in that thing. Again, the walls of dust, people always ask, is that real? Is that something that really happens? What's it like? It looks apocalyptic. It looks made up, but it is not. It is very much a real thing here in the summertime in Arizona. All right. And then Steve up in Willow Creek, Steve and Renee, they have had some precipitation up there once again. And parts of northwest Arizona and southeast California under a flash flood warning right now, actually, for the Kingman area down toward Lake Havasu City and Needles. This does not include our friends Steve and Renee up in Willow Creek, but pretty close by, and just beautiful pictures from them, and we really appreciate that as well. And then I got some video here. Ryan Seek with his time-lapse video. And again, he's always out and about doing this stuff. He's our monsoon photographer. I'm kind of sad that we are now in the month of September, and it sure looks like we're not going to have many more opportunities for organized thunderstorm activity, but you never know what the rest of September will hold. But this is always kind of that somber time of the year because Ryan goes into hibernation in the winter. But that's not totally true. He does send us some pictures during the winter time because, sometimes we get thunderstorms or active weather in the winter. And in that case, he's out there to capture those pictures. And we really do appreciate it. All of you guys that are out there, everybody, all I ever ask when you take these pictures, just try to stay safe if you're getting these action shots. But everybody does. You guys know what you're talking about. If you're watching these videos, you already know that you don't need me to preach to you. That is for sure. And then Joe in Santan got some more rain. They've actually had some pretty decent rains out there in the East Valley. Some of you have really gotten several appreciable rain events here over the last couple of weeks, and that is great news. All right, that is Photo Friday. GroffShow@gmail.com is our email address. If you want to submit your photos or videos, it's GROFFshow@gmail.com for Photo Friday. All right, getting into it, the almanac from yesterday, 97 degrees, the afternoon high. Felt almost chilly outside, right? At low temperature of 75, 1,500ths of an inch of rain in the early morning hours yesterday, bringing our monthly total to 1,800ths of an inch. 104 and 82 are the averages for this time of year, still woefully behind on precipitation, and I don't think we're going to catch up anytime soon. Outside now, just after 8 o'clock, mostly sunny sky, 82 degrees at Sky Harbor, but that's just half the story. Look at that dew point up at 70. You can cut it with a knife out there. It is very thick, very humid. Air you can wear. 66% the humidity, wind from the northwest at 7, barometer is rising. Temperatures out there, 82 in Scottsdale, 82 in Arcadia. We've got a 79 in Buckeye, 78 in Surprise. So it is generally in the mid 70s to low 80s across the area, and those dew points are up in the low 70s as well. So it just feels kind of gross out there. Satellite picture out here across the southwest. We put it in motion. You can see what was Lorena down there fizzling out now. And the steering currents just collapsed. So that moisture just kind of hung out down there and was wringing itself out across the Baja and the Sea of Cortez, and what is left of that remnant low is drifting to the west-northwest now. And we're not going to see much more moisture from that system as the flow aloft is gradually going to start to turn out of the southwest and eventually the west, and we are going to dry out. But we still have the chance of some at least isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms around today, tonight, and even tomorrow. The watch warning map, again, a flash flood warning is in effect for parts of Mojave and San Bernardino counties in northwest Arizona and southeast California, respectively. Kingman, Lake Havasu City, Needles, kind of in that general area, and a little stretch of I-40 there, and some of the other, even Wickiup is in that warning as well. So if you're heading up the 93 toward Las Vegas, be aware of that. Those roads are wet, and it doesn't take much to flood that area, so be aware. We have, of course, heat advisories and extreme heat warnings still up in the Pacific Northwest. It's been a very hot week up that way. Convective outlook for today, the broad risk of severe weather extends from North Texas and Oklahoma, north and eastward up into the Ohio Valley. Here in Arizona, we're in the green. Thunderstorms possible. It is a conditional threat, and they will be isolated to just widely scattered in nature. But where they do occur, brief heavy rain, gusty winds, maybe some blowing dust could still occur. The tropics in the Atlantic Basin, we do have this wave out there. It is in the central Atlantic. It's slowly making its way to the west. And what is going to happen with the Invest 91L here? The tropical models take it mostly to the west, toward the islands, toward the Lesser Antilles, and toward Puerto Rico, maybe curving it north. Really depends. GFS Ensemble and the European Ensemble, there are a number of members that try to turn this more toward the north and out to sea, but it is still too early to tell. And at this point, all interests, at least from the islands, the Virgin Islands, up toward Puerto Rico, need to keep an eye on this, and maybe ultimately into the Caribbean or Puerto Rico or even Hispaniola. We'll have to keep an eye on how this plays out, but this is still way, way, way too far away from the United States to get worked up about it. We just have to keep an eye on things. That's what we do in the tropical season here, hurricane season. All right, in the Pacific, we've got the remnants of Lorena. We've got Kiko. Kiko's still a major hurricane. Going to make a bit more of a turn to the northwest, and this will weaken as it enters those cooler waters surrounding the Hawaiian Islands, and will weaken to a tropical storm, but still could bring some wind and some rain to the Hawaiian Island chain. Elsewhere, Lorena, this is basically off the board. I mean, it's just a remnant weak circulation going to drift to the northwest as a post-tropical cyclone, and this is not really going to have any sort of implication on our weather. Not that we really thought it would, but it's kind of changed. It's interesting how this has evolved over the last few days. And it's interesting, again, that my very first video, we talked about a system that ultimately didn't pan out. That was Newton. That looked more promising than Lorena. And then this thing has been more disappointing than prom night. So that is the unfortunate side effect of tropical cyclones. I mean, they come up the west coast of Mexico, and you just never know what's going to happen with these features. All right, the precipitation outlook valid through Friday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, maybe a tenth, 2/10 of an inch. We could see local amounts anywhere from 1 to 2 inches across the state. Your amount will vary. Any one storm can produce an absolute deluge. Even yesterday, as those storms kind of fell apart coming into the valley, there were a few places just around and outside the metro area that experienced a quick inch of rain. And we can see that with these kinds of storms. We see that right now up in northwest Arizona with those storms that came through last night and in the early morning hours this morning, producing the flood and flash flooding up that way. So what's going on with this weather pattern? What are the rain chances? What is going to happen in the future? Well, we'll try to figure it out to the best of our ability by taking a look at the models right now, see what the future may hold. Here we go, the GFS. This is the 06Z run valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. The upper look at 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet off the ground. Look at that impressive low over eastern Canada, just pulling down that cool autumn air. Must feel amazing if you're in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania. Just the weather has been absolutely sensational the last couple of weeks. And out here in the west, it's been hot with that big ridge nosing way up into western Canada. We've been on the southern periphery of that, but that ridge is getting squeezed now. And we're starting to come under the influence of more southwesterly flow. But the flow pattern today is actually rather complex. Part of the state under more of a northeasterly flow, part of the state becoming more under a south-southwesterly flow. What it all means down to the surface for the rest of the day today, we'll call it partly sunny, although right now it looks mostly sunny out there. We'll start to see some clouds forming throughout the day today, though. High temperatures will top out in the mid to upper 90s. I'd say highs anywhere from about 93 to 97 here in Phoenix. We should stay just shy of the triple digits. Yeah, it's going to be muggy with those dew points up in the 60s and low 70s. It's going to feel very tropical out there. Widely scattered showers and thunderstorms will develop this afternoon and this evening. Where they occur, nobody knows. They are random. They are widely scattered. One neighborhood could get an inch of rain. Another neighborhood, most of you, will get nothing. That's just going to be the way it works today. And the reason that we won't see more organized storms despite all the moisture around and more sunshine today than yesterday is that, well, let's take a look at it here. First of all, this is our HRRR model, the high-resolution rapid refresh, the simulated radar product. This is at 5 o'clock this afternoon. We've got some storms trying to get into the valley from the north-northeast. but they're just going to run into this kind of wall of drier air up in the mid levels. And so it's doubtful that we'll see organized storms in the valley. Yeah, could we see storms tonight? Yes, we absolutely could. But organized, widespread convection, it's going to be a real challenge to get that in here, given the atmosphere that we have right now. So we're not ruling out precipitation. We've just got a 20% chance in the forecast for this afternoon. And tonight, looking at a forecast sounding. And, we've been geeking out for 9 years, and this is where it just gets super geek, like pocket protector, Coke bottle thick glasses, talking like Urkel, I don't know, whatever. We're just chess club. We're playing Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder. I mean, we're doing it all. This is how geeky this is. And by the way, that's what I do. I do all those things. So anyway, HRRR this afternoon, you can see dry air, especially above the 500 millibar level, especially above 18,000 feet. But the parameters are still decent. I mean, Cape values are up around 1,000 joules per kilogram. Mixing ratios are okay. Precipitable water is okay. Lift indices are favorable for at least getting some shallow convection going. But you see that dry air is a limiter. And look at the shear. I mean, there's no shear. There's basically no winds in the atmosphere at all. The wind fields have just collapsed. And so any storms that develop would be extremely slow movers, which means they will rain hard wherever they form. They're just not going to be moving very fast. So that's going to be the nature of storms today. They'll be shallow, they'll be low top, they'll be pulse-like storms. They will drop some heavy rain in short amount of time, maybe some gusty winds too, and then they'll be gone. All right. Otherwise, for tonight, widely scattered evening storms. Lows will generally be in the 70s to low 80s. Tomorrow, this is 4 a.m. This is off the HRRR. And again, it's trying to show some showers developing in the overnight hours, kind of coming on in from the northeast or the east into the lower deserts. And so we could see a few late night storms popping up. It's that kind of atmosphere. It's juiced up. It's just not particularly unstable, but any even minor ripple in the atmosphere, even a small little gravity wave or a perturbation coming through could trigger some storms tonight. So do keep that in mind. And then for the day on Saturday, we're looking partly sunny again with at least widely scattered showers and thunderstorms through the day. By the afternoon, actually, drier air is going to start to work in from the west, and by evening, those thunderstorms will be dying off very quickly. And that should be the end of our rain chances for a while. High temperatures tomorrow again. We may just stay shy of the triple digits, and if we do make it to 100, just barely, about 95 to 100 for tomorrow. Let's go to Sunday. We're drying out. Yeah, down at the surface, it might still be pretty muggy, but eventually that drier air is going to make its way to the surface. So highs will be upper 90s to about 102. We'll warm it up a couple of degrees on Monday. High pressure to the east, troughing to the west, southwesterly flow. So we're dry. Highs 100 to 104. Identical forecast Tuesday, identical forecast Wednesday, mostly identical forecast Thursday, except caveat here, forecast uncertainty starts to come into the mix as we go out here toward late next week, because the GFS has really had a hard time handling this trough to the west. It has, again, gone back to the idea of a much deeper trough digging well down into California, the base into Southern California, or even northern Mexico. And if that's right, it could advect some tropical moisture northward into eastern Arizona. Does that mean we could see a few storms around here? It would really depend on how that system sets up to the west of us and how deep it is. And the access of moisture, it would be a very tight moisture gradient in these kinds of setups. We do see those from time to time in September. It's not out of the question, but at this point, we're just not going to put any rain chances into the forecast just yet. I'd like to see a few more runs and how this plays out. The European has sort of hinted at this more unsettled pattern late next week as well, but that remains to be seen. Again, this is not a monsoonal pattern. This is a mid-latitude cyclone sort of driving moisture northward into the area. This is more of a fall-like setup. All right. A week from today, Friday, the 12th of September, And again, this trough kind of coming on through, almost starting to go negative tilt as it does. And if that's the case, we could see some showers and storms, especially over eastern Arizona. I don't know if we'd see anything around here. It just depends on how that plays out. But one thing I will say is temperatures are just not going to get all that warm. In fact, with a trough coming through, we'd cool off a little bit. It'd be breezy. Highs, again, may not make the triple digits. So I don't see any signs of a major heat wave or any 110-degree temperatures on the horizon at all. That's the best news of all. Whether it rains or not, I know for some of you, who cares as long as it stays below 110, and that certainly seems likely as we go through the next 10 days. This is Saturday, the 13th, and that still looks dry. Southwesterly flow, yet another trough, is headed for the Pacific Northwest coast. So no monsoon moisture, no real chance of precipitation going out 10 days. This is Sunday the 14th. Same thing, southwest flow with a negative tilt trough coming into the Pacific Northwest. That looks dry and seasonal temperature-wise. Rainfall for Phoenix, this goes out through the 19th of the month. This is off the GFS ensemble. And yeah, the mean is up there about over half an inch. European ensemble probably more realistic with the mean under 1/4 of an inch. And there's a couple of members that show nothing. Of course, there's a few members that are way up there, 1 to 2 inches. It's a pretty big model spread, indicative of kind of how that trough next week may play out. Temperatures off the national blend of models. Hey, I mean, it's going to be very muggy today and even tomorrow. But anytime you're under 100 degrees in early September, I think you'll take that. And then we warm it up a bit. Highs back towards seasonal averages early next week, and then dipping maybe to a couple of degrees below average later next week and into that following weekend. And again, you don't see 110 on this. You don't see 109, 108. We'll probably be done with those, hopefully, right? I know, kind of, that's fingers crossed. That's not completely scientific yet, but the probability each day that we go by without hitting 110, the probability increases that we will not see it for the rest of this year and not till maybe sometime in late May or June of next year. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a summer where we don't hit 110 degrees. Right. I'll have to find a magic lamp, get the genie, all that. All right. Well, folks, that's it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video, we'll come back tomorrow morning. Why not, right? We've already done 9 years. What's another day? If you enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you're really enjoying what we do here, you want to support us, once again, best way to do that. Click that thanks icon below the video on YouTube. Make a contribution that way or via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address, groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. Our Venmo is linked up down below as well. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona. Talking about my Michelle, check her out. Blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, Adriana related, Kylie related. It's all linked up down in the description, so check that out. Our streaming station, 24/7, 365, musical entertainment at its finest. It's available, linked up down below also. Thanks to Dan over at the Courtroom Files YouTube channel, The Courtroom Files on YouTube, or courtroomfiles.com for all of your Courtroom Files merch. I thank him because he's a personal friend. He's a friend of the channel. He's a supporter of what we do here. And also that logo you see down in the corner, he designed that logo for us, and that's part of the channel now. And we're doing some other things to help with different things on this channel going forward. So I want to thank Dan so much for all that he does to help us and his community, for that matter. All right, that's it. Once again, thank you guys so much for 9 beautiful years. And we'll be back again tomorrow. Please, want you guys to be safe, stay cool, stay hydrated out there, and have yourselves an absolutely magnificent rest of your Friday.